Are you a foreign national thinking of buying a property here in the US and using the EB-5 program? On this video, we're going to share with you the myths of the EB-5 and how to protect yourself. Coming up. Hi, this is Kai with the Kai Wong team, helping you better understand everything you need to know about New York City real estate. Today I have the pleasure of introducing you to Steve Maggi from SMA Law Firm. He's an immigration attorney here in New York City. How are you doing today, Steve?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me, Kai.
Thank you for being here. So share with us a little bit about yourself.
I'm an immigrant originally from Argentina.
Okay.
And I decided after growing up here in New York to dedicate my professional life to helping other immigrants maneuver this really complex immigration system.
Yes.
So I started the firm 15 years ago. We do all things immigration, and our chief focus is working with foreign entrepreneurs and companies that want to launch operations here in the US.
Well, thank you so much for being here and sharing your wisdom.
Absolutely.
So one thing that a lot of the foreign national clients we have asked about is an EB-5 program. So what is that? You know, a lot of people, they don't really know. They're just like, oh, I heard I could get my visa if I do EB-5 and invest. Can you tell us a little bit about what the program is?
Yes, it's a very complicated and complex program.
Okay.
And a lot of the information that's out there on the internet is incorrect. And so we like to debunk those myths.
Let's do it. Tell us a little bit about the EB-5 program.
The EB-5 program is a program that exists to allow foreign nationals to passively invest in projects that create jobs.
So is there a minimum investment amount for the EB-5 program?
Yes, the minimum investment is $500,000 in almost all cases, occasionally at the $1 million mark, but usually $500,000.
Got it. And you mentioned it has to be a passive investment. So how long of a minimum time are we talking about?
We're looking at a minimum of 5 years that the money needs to be in the investment vehicle, whatever that might be, with a developer or with a regional center. But it all depends on the documents that you're signing to become an investor in the program. Generally, 5 years is the minimum.
Got it. And what are the different investment vehicles that you can use for the EB-5 program?
So the main one that's used are what are called regional centers. There's about 700 regional centers across the US.
Okay.
And essentially what they do is pools of investment.
Okay.
So you could have a project here like Hudson Yards that happened, where they took 40 investors at $500,000 each. And because they're going to create the minimum 10 jobs per investment in the aggregate, they were able to bring in all those investors. That's the passive part. You don't have to have any role in the functioning of the operation or the project. You just have to invest the funds and keep them there. Okay.
And there is a lot of myth and misinformation online regarding the EB-5 program that you mentioned. Can you tell us a little bit about what they are?
Yeah, the biggest myth is the one that you saw me present about 3 or 4 years ago at a real estate conference, and I hear it every day, which is that simply buying a property gives you the right to get a green card. And that would be wonderful, especially for what you do. But unfortunately, that's not the case. You cannot get a green card based on investment unless you can clearly show that 10 jobs have been created. The reason why I say have been is because when you apply, first you have to show how they will be created, and you get a conditional green card. But after 2 years, you have to show that those 10 jobs, full-time jobs, were actually created, or they won't remove conditions, and you will lose your green card, and so will your family.
So what are some ways that the applicant that's applying can protect themselves?
The most important thing is to make sure that they verified the integrity of the project that they're investing in.
Okay.
And what that means is asking the developer or the regional center for proof, for real statistics about numbers of approvals and number of jobs created, to assure the fact that their investment will lead to the 10 full-time jobs, because otherwise they'll lose their investment and they'll lose their green cards.
That's great information. Unfortunately, I've heard a lot of scary stories too, that people thought they were investing in an EB-5 program. So it's good for them to verify to make sure that their money is in the safe place.
They may have to spend $10,000 or $20,000 to get a valuation, to get numbers, to do research, to vet the projects, but they're also risking losing $500,000 and their futures if they don't. So that is the most important decision to make.
Yeah, especially risking the time and effort for what they're hoping to be the future.
Correct.
So who can benefit from this program?
Essentially, the principal investor, as well as their spouse and any children under 21. So hypothetically, there's no limit on this. We had a case where we had an investor with 10 children and a spouse.
Wow.
And for a $500,000 investment, they got 12 green cards.
Wow, that's impressive.
The downside of that is, and that affects the processing time, is the fact that the 10,000 visa cap per year doesn't apply just to the principal investors. It applies to the entire family.
Okay.
So you could have families of 3 now that the PRC, for example, has lifted the one-child policy. You have bigger families, 2, 3, 4 kids. You're talking about an average of 4 visas per investment, which means only 2,500 of these applications are going through each year. And what that's caused is a backlog in processing. And also because each year the 10,000 mark is being met, there are delays. So you're looking at 2 to 2.5 years just to get an approval on your immigrant visa petition.
Okay.
And then if you're from the People's Republic of China, you're looking at an additional 3-year wait to get your visa.
So pretty much around the 5-year wait time.
5
for
years
the whole
just to
processing.
enter the U.S.
Got it. Okay.
To then try to remove conditions, to then get your permanent green card, which means you have to, going back to your last question, you have to make sure you're investing in the right vehicle, because essentially 7 years down the line, those jobs have to be there.
Got it. Okay. That's good information to know. What kind of return on investment are they, should the investor be looking at?
Well, what I always tell clients is they can't think of this as an investment vehicle. It's a vehicle that allows them to get the green cards that they want. It's an investment in their future. Some of these regional centers or projects purport to give back big payback in terms of interest.
Okay.
I tend to be very skeptical about those. And the focus really should not be on what money they get back. Generally, a really positive outcome is if they get their $500,000 back without making any profit, but having any number of green cards for them and for their families, which has unlimited value.
Okay, so let's just recap.
EB-5 is a program that allows investors to passively invest in projects in the U.S. that create jobs and get green cards.
How long is the time frame?
You're looking at 2.5 years once you've invested the funds to get a visa approved, and then you have to remove the conditions on top of that. So you're looking at a solid 5 years before you get your permanent green card.
And the minimum investment amount is $500,000, as you mentioned. And this applies for the person that's investing, their spouse, and any children under the age of 21.
Correct. So the investment itself stays the same, and essentially you get to package your family into this under the same investment amount. And that can include any child under 21 and your spouse. And the important thing to know is that the children that are under 21 are grandfathered in.
Okay.
So for people from the People's Republic of China who, like we talked about, have a 5-year wait to get their visas now, as long as their children were included in the petition in the beginning of the process, they can still qualify for the green cards even after they turn 21.
Okay. And investment vehicles again?
Mostly regional centers. You can also invest in franchises. And then there are a lot of developers like the ones here in New York that will also pool investment funds. And there is the option of actively investing and not passively. That's done in very small percentage of cases, but the investment amount could be higher.
Got it. And lastly, how do they protect themselves?
You have to choose the right investment vehicle and get proof that the vehicle that you've invested in has created the full-time jobs and that everyone that's applied has received their permanent green cards. Otherwise, you could lose your money and your green cards.
Well, thank you so much for being here today and sharing this information. I know a lot of people that keeps asking because they just don't know what they don't know. So thank you so much for sharing today.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
And thank you so much for watching. If you're new here, consider subscribing. On this channel, we share with you buying and selling tips, market updates, and neighborhood guides. If there's a particular topic or question that you have from watching this video, please let us know in the comments below, and we'll see you in the next video. Talk to you soon. Bye.
Bye.